This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abich, founder of Abich Financial Services.
Baby boomers are not spending their money, and apparently there are 3 reasons why. So let's talk about that. This is Abe Abich, founder of Abich Financial Services, financial advisor, retirement planner. I'm Heather Branch, here to ask Abe questions that so many of us have when it comes to planning our retirement. Something that we talk about all the time. Just the longevity factor alone is such an intimidating circumstance for Americans facing retirement nowadays, Abe. I mean, you see it every single day in the office.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, we spent our entire career, entire lives on just like saving and getting to a certain dollar amount. And now you're telling me I got to start taking money out.
Yeah.
And I got to like know how much to take out and which accounts to tap into. And Heather, it's got to last me the next 30 to 40 years of my life. Like, I don't know how to do this.
It's intimidating. You know? It's scary. Also, it goes against everything that we have trained ourselves to do for the past 30 or 40 years to save, don't spend, don't waste, don't be frivolous. And yet here we are also wanting to have an enjoyable retirement that we've worked so hard to get to. So I want to dive a little bit further into the psychology of it all, because according to the Federal Reserve, baby boomers have amassed $76 trillion with a T, dollars in net worth.
Wow.
But the study also says that as they get to retirement, they are not spending this money. An article on moneywise.com says that there are 3 reasons why. 1, people want to leave money to their kids and grandkids. Understandably, you love your family. You want to take care of them. Number 2, they've learned to live without big travel and big ticket items during events like COVID. They stayed with the idea, the discipline has stayed with them. But I think that, it's like the whole idea of getting to retirement is to enjoy these things.
To spend, yeah.
Then 3, the fear that they're going to get sick. Or, of course, this is sick, or they're going to live too long and run out of money, Abe. So do these things align with what you're seeing in your office, talking to folks?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And at the end of the day, a new retiree, someone that's just retiring, maybe even into retirement, if they haven't already, has to have this mindset shift and switch where they are realizing, well, yeah, I don't want to take too much out of my early years, but if I wait until my 80s to enjoy this, or my late 70s, God forbid any longer, then man, I missed out. And I worked my entire life to get here. And now, because I was too conservative and I was too frugal and I wasn't taking money out and enjoying it, now I'm 80 and I'm moving around slower, right? I'm still alive and decent health, but I'm slower moving, and maybe my health has declined a little bit. I just don't want to go. I don't want to take that trip to Italy anymore. I can't take a 12-hour flight to Hawaii now, or I just don't want to. I've lost the desire.
Yep.
So this mindset shift and switch has to happen in people's minds. And it comes, I think, with when people get educated on how to shift and transition from that growth mindset to both growth and income, then they have a plan to do so, right? A plan to transition from their working career into retirement successfully. That growth plan goes to both growth and income, and then retirement income strategies are shown. And there's a plan with clear retirement income strategies in place to follow. Yeah. Then people are going to have more confidence that, oh, okay, I can take out 50 grand, 100 grand. I can spend some interest because my principal is still growing. I can play with the play money, I can upgrade to first class, over to Europe. And man, once you do that and you fly first class,
you never
want to fly anything again. But we encourage our clients to do that. I mean, I think that's what life's all about, is enjoying yourself, living life in good health, giving back when you can. And so that retirement income plan with clear retirement income strategies that are really thoroughly measured and clearly defined is so crucial for a retiree.
All right. So let's talk about then some retirement income strategies.
Sure.
When somebody comes to you and they say, I hear you talking about retirement income, Abe, but how do I do it? Because there was this 3-legged stool adage for years and years, right? Like you had your pension, your Social Security, and then you had some savings, and also you only lived 10 years anyway. So nowadays, most people don't have pensions. Social Security, as we know, has gotten wobbly. So people are looking at a 1.5-legged stool. when it comes to their retirement. You got hopefully we'll still have some. I mean, I think we'll still have some Social Security, but it is going to have to be adjusted in some way, shape, or form.
It could look different down the road. Yeah.
You've got your savings, basically, is what most people are relying on. If maybe a lot of federal workers in the DC area do have some pension money, so that's a good option for a lot of folks. But thinking about income strategies, a couple of things. One, how many should we have? How many income sources should we have in retirement? What are common income streams that people need to lean into, and how do you help develop those within a plan?
Okay. So, how many income streams should we have? I feel like the more the better. Okay. So I'll list a bunch here. And actually, we just wrote about this in a book that I just came out with this book about 6 months ago, maybe or so, in 2024. It's called The Retirement Mountain, the 7 Steps to a Long-Lasting Retirement. Step 1, develop a retirement income plan and roadmap, exactly what we're talking about today. So you asked about how many income streams we have. The more the better. Right? If all the income in retirement is coming in from the stock market's down, it's not going to be a great year for you income wise.
Like a dividend paying stock, or is it just selling stock? Or
I know. So if you have income coming in from the market, maybe some rental real estate, annuities, pensions, Social Security, dividends, both income from all these sources, the more diversified your income will be, that's going to come from a diversified portfolio. Okay. So the more diversified the portfolio is, the more diversified your income will be.
Yeah.
Again, most people are going to have Social Security. Some people will have pensions. But then when you start thinking about, well, all right, Abe, I've got $3 million and I don't have a pension, or I do have a pension. How do I split that $3 million up? Where do I invest it? Well, let's talk about, how you would split that money up for people that have a pension and people that don't.
Okay.
So for people that have a pension, if their income needs are met through the pension and Social Security, which many people in the DC metro area, are in that situation where they're a former military, former government, pension, Social Security, all the bills are paid.
Yeah.
By this guaranteed income, man, that is a phenomenal place to be.
Yeah.
So they might have a couple $1 million sitting on top of all this guaranteed income. And, then they can live a lot more freely, right? This is the $3 million is icing on the cake, right?
Okay.
It's the gravy, so to speak.
Yeah.
So depending on their risk tolerance and what they want to accomplish with the $3 million is kind of how we would determine how to split it up.
Okay.
Since all the bills are paid by the guaranteed income, they're not going to need more guaranteed income from part of that $3 million, right? The bills are already paid. So maybe they're that classic 60-40 split between growth and income. We might put 60% of that $3 million into growth-focused funds, a growth-focused portfolio that's stocks and ETFs and vehicles like that, focused on good return, but stability as well. The remaining 30 to 40% of the portfolio might be in safer instruments, income producing investments, right? We might not be there for growth because we really don't need growth on the entire portfolio, but you need money there for additional income, helping you satisfy RMD requirements, keeping up with inflation, things like that. For those people who do not have a pension, and there's a lot of people out there as well who do not have pensions, and pensions are almost a thing of the past now, you might have your Social Security checks and then several million dollars on top of that. Well, first off, we find out how far is the Social Security going to go? Meaning, if you've got $10,000 in bills and your Social Security is going to cover $5,000 of the bills, we got another $5,000 we got to create from your portfolio.
And that's that's the income gap, right?
That's the income gap and the shortfall. So ideally, that gap and shortfall is created from the income part of the portfolio that's going to produce stable, reliable income. Think about creating a third or fourth Social Security check if you could. It might be guaranteed, it might not be guaranteed, but you don't want that $5,000 sitting on top of Social Security to be wobbly. You want it to be pretty predictable. You want to know that most of the time, if not all the time, it's going to come into your bank account like clockwork every single month. That's what's going to allow you to live the retirement you want to live with confidence. That is just some background for how we would put together portfolios. It's some background on different retirement income sources. There are all kinds of strategies. Those are really just the basics. For anyone that wants to learn more, there are various ways you can learn more. You can get educated through our firm. The YouTube channel, Heather, has, I think, 500 to 600 now educational videos on
Yeah.
retirement.
Yeah.
And then obviously we have the podcast here, and we have our radio and TV shows. We've got the book.
I was going to say
here.
also, you have the book, and I want to let people know how to get that. But something else if you go to theretirementkey.com, at the top, you're just going to see a tab that says workshops. And you do in-person workshops, dinner events, but there's also a lot of webinars there.
Yes.
The estate planning webinar, smart retirement tax webinar, women's retirement roadmap.
Correct.
Ladies, where most of us are going to live longer than our husbands, sad to say, but that's just the reality. Educate yourself.
Yes.
And at Abish Financial, they've got a lot of these online videos and webinars for you to attend to get that education and information. So again, that's the retirementkey.com. Click on the workshops tab. Also, if you click on media, you're going to see an option there for book. And when you click on that, it's going to take you to a page about Abe's book, The Retirement Mountain, The 7 Steps to a Long-Lasting Retirement. I'm happy to tell you, because, I mean, if you're like me and you almost flunked out of finance in college, I'm glad to tell you that it is a quick and easy read, only a little over 100 pages. It just takes a couple hours on a Sunday afternoon to read through and get more education.
Right. That's right.
Because, and you call it the Retirement Mountain because, explain why.
Because that phase 1, that ascent, climbing up your retirement mountain, that's really your working career.
Yep.
Right? You work all your entire life to get to the point where you've got enough money saved, you can actually pull the trigger and retire.
Yeah.
Phase 2 is your descent down your own retirement mountain into retirement. You need a different plan. You need income strategies. You need protection all around your nest eggs so that you don't have to go back to work in phase 1.
Well, yeah.
The strategies you use when you were 30, 40, and 50, taking on a ton of risk, should not be the same strategies that you use in phase 2. And all kinds of new decisions come down the pike, Heather. Social security decisions, pension decisions, long-term care, putting together an estate plan. It's not just the investments. It's not just the money you've saved. It's everything around that money and what you want the money to do for you and your family.
Yep. Exactly. And of course, also the lifestyle you want to live. As far as getting a copy of the book goes, you can get a complimentary copy if you do come into the Abish Financial Services offices for a full review on your savings and investments. We will give you a copy of the book for free. It is also for sale on Amazon. You can download a free chapter. Again, the website, theretirementkey.com, click on the media tab, and you'll see the option for book there, and that's how you can get more information on the book. We also have links posted in the show notes. We're just here to give you more education. And one last thing I wanted to touch on, this conversation around income, is the current environment that we are in, Abe, because we really do have a window of opportunity right now for people to seize. For so many folks, if you think about interest rates and what it can do for you, when interest rates go down, as did it many years ago, it wasn't that long ago. I think it was in 2022 when the interest rates on our. So what did we all do? We all called up our mortgage banks and refinanced our mortgages, right?
Right.
Then when interest rates go up, that's the time to seize opportunity to essentially refinance your retirement plan. For those of us who do have some sort of annuity product or things of that nature, you could just basically trade it out and maybe even get more income. There really is a window of opportunity that's happening right now, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, the investments and the opportunities that are out there are heavily dependent on what interest rates are doing. If you think about it, like you just said, back in 2020 and prior, I mean, you couldn't make a penny anywhere, like in the banks, right? 0 to 2% maybe. Yeah. So people flooded the stock market and real estate markets. Then in 22 and 23, rates rose 11 times to the point where you could make then 4 to 5% on a CD and things like that. So you've always want to be, aware of what your opportunities are, and interest rates can definitely create opportunities. There are opportunities in terrible times in the markets. There are opportunities in good times. Yeah. And interest rates certainly affect your investments, your portfolio, and you want to be aware of those opportunities that are available to you.
There's always opportunities, but those opportunities do change. And at Abish Financial, they are here to show you what the opportunities are for you within your portfolio right now in this day and age. So again, the idea, if you have the opportunity to refinance your retirement, let's dig into your savings and investments, help you understand what your options are, and then go from there. Again, that complimentary review process, it begins at theretirementkey.com. We also have links posted in the show notes. Let's get to work helping you understand your income opportunities for the years ahead.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abich. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit theretirementkey.com. And join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 8 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Abish Financial Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor with the SEC. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training, and the content of this communication has not been approved or verified by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission or by any state securities authority. The information contained in this material is intended to provide general information about Abish Financial Wealth Management and its services. It is not intended to offer investment advice. Investment advice will only be given after a client engages our services by executing the appropriate investment services agreement. Information regarding investment products and services are provided solely to read about our investment philosophy and our strategies.